5:50, welcome back. This is a live look at the scene of a police officer memorial in Dallas, Texas. Hundreds of people continue to show their support for officers there, placing flowers, balloons, and messages on two police cars outside the Dallas Police headquarters, of course, honoring those 5 officers killed in an ambush attack last week.
Hi again and good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with the Valley today. I'm Lisa Bedeau here with Kyle Bosch. We're starting our nonstop news and weather to the top of the hour to help you plan your day. We start now with breaking news. Fargo police and fire crews are investigating a car fire overnight as suspicious. They were called out to North Fargo overnight for multiple reports of a vehicle on fire.
Now, what they think they found, is a Suburban or SUV that was completely burned out. Firefighters then noticed that there was not an engine in the vehicle, which is causing them to believe that the fire may be suspicious. Also breaking for you this morning, cleanup crews are going to be busy in Lake Park, Minnesota right now after a second stormy night slammed the valley.
Sheriff's dispatchers tell us that there are trees and tree limbs down in the city, some blocking parts of roads in town. Many people in the valley saw lightning and winds of more than 50 miles per hour overnight. There are a lot of tree branches down, and some of them pretty good size, like this one that blocked the street in the 800 block of 2nd Avenue North in Fargo. That's a neighborhood just north of the downtown area. Yeah, there were also power outages reported in Fargo, Horace, Mayville, and Grand Forks. And out to the west, some massive hail. Take a look at this. Zach Frazee sent us this picture from the Bowman, North Dakota area. You can see a hailstone almost as big as a tennis ball. He sent us the picture right around 1:30 this morning, just after the storms moved through that area. Some people in the valley are still cleaning up those tree limbs after Saturday night's storm as well that brought winds and a huge downpour. Heavy winds blew part of a roof off of business in Holly, Minnesota, but luckily no one was hurt. Yeah, there were also power lines down, hail damage, flash flooding, and damage to other buildings. Again, that was round 1 of these storms that happened on Saturday night, round 2 overnight tonight, and we've got round 3 on the way. Let's get it right over to meteorologist Lisa Green. Weather and traffic on the ones getting started.
Good morning. Yes, we have more storms on the way for today, but we're waking up to the damage from round 2 still. We're just now getting in some photos from the Lake Park area. Christy was kind enough to share some photos from what they're dealing with this morning. Numerous tree branches down along this roadway here, and she said at least in her neighborhood, there are at least 5 of her neighbors that can't get out because they're blocked, this road here, blocking the roadway there. So if you want to see some more of these photos, you can go to our website, valleynewslive.com, and go to our picture gallery to see what the damage is so far in the Lake Park area. We've got more photos coming in, and if you have some to share, go to the gallery and you can click on the upload button to upload your pictures and videos. Here's a look at what we have right now. We're not done yet. It's still raining out there in a lot of places. We still have some storms and some lightning going on too. We've got more steady, heavy rain over in Lakes Country, a stronger storm just to the east of the valley, and then more scattered storms over toward Ellendale and back into Sargent County too. Some of these could be producing some strong wind gusts, and on top of that, of course, some lightning and maybe even some small hail. So not quite done with this round just yet. It's still working its way through the valley, especially the southern valley. Northern valley, we do have some rain, a couple sprinkles in Grand Forks, up by Roseau, some rain, but more likely the wind impacting you there this morning in the wake of this system. Radar estimated rainfall anywhere in yellow. That's more than 2 inches of rain that the radar is thinking that we got based on the radar returns we had over the last 24 hours. Areas in orange, more than 2 inches of rain. Fargo, at least the radar estimating we had more than 2. Current conditions show some rain falling still in Fargo, 65 degrees, light wind out of the south-southwest. Temperatures throughout the region in the 60s to around 70, and still some strong winds out there up north. We've got a 47-mile-per-hour speed not associated with the thunderstorm in Devil's Lake. So here's our hour-by-hour planner. We get a break from the storms this morning for the most part, and then this afternoon more refire, and this is our 3rd round. Some of these could be strong to severe. In fact, we have a slight risk for severe weather in the valley for today. We could be seeing all modes of severe weather with temperatures rising into the 80s to near 90 in the southern valley, 70s up north, and this is still ongoing even around the 11 o'clock hour. So again, slight risk for the valley here, and for the next couple of days, expect to see unsettled weather continuing with the strongest storms coming up for this afternoon and tonight. Let's check in now with Al.
We have a lot of water sitting in the ditches here along Interstate 94 and I-29. I suspect the shoulders are probably pretty soft, too. So if you end up having to make an emergency stop and pull over, make sure that you're mindful of those conditions. It's still raining pretty darn good out here this morning, and traffic has really picked up. West and eastbound Interstate 94, both pretty darn busy. Same story on the Interstate 29. Have those lights on this morning so we can see you nice and clear. Drive carefully. Willamette Valley today traffic.
5 minutes before 7, developing this morning. Parts of downtown Dallas remain closed this morning as authorities continue investigating last week's deadly ambush on police officers that left 5 dead.
Officials are now saying the attacker, Micah Johnson, had plans for a larger attack, and they believe that last week's incident was a crime of opportunity. Now, President Obama did return to the White House this weekend after cutting a trip to Europe short following the deadly attack in Dallas. He is set to head to Dallas tomorrow to speak at an interfaith memorial service, as well as meet privately with the families of fallen officers.
The deaths of 2 black men last week at the hands of police continue to spark protests across the country, and some of them have turned violent. Dozens of people were arrested last night during demonstrations in Baton Rouge, where Alton Sterling was killed. And there was more chaos out of the Twin Cities in the wake of Philando Castile's death. Police say around 100 people were arrested over the weekend at a Black Lives Matter protest in St. Paul. The demonstration blocked Interstate 94 for about 5 hours.
Drivers in West Fargo will be glad to hear about this. The south side of A Street and Main Avenue, the intersection there, is set to reopen this morning now that sewer work at the site is done. The intersection at 11th Street and Main Avenue should also be reopened by the end of the week as crews start wrapping up some of the work going on there.
But there will be a new closure at 6th Street and Main. You can get a look at the detailed map of street closures by heading to our website, valleynewslive.com. Just click on this story. Today's the deadline for petitions to be turned in to put medical marijuana in North Dakota to a vote of the people.
The state requires just under 13,500 signatures, and members of the petition committee say they have more than 17,000 names. Now, the Secretary of State will have 30 days to review the petitions. If they're approved, voters will decide the issue in November. From belly dancing to pole fitness. It's a motivational Monday here on the Valley today, and we're showing off some brand new workouts sweeping the nation that you can now do right here in the Valley.
We join the Valley today's Christy Larson live from Zero Gravity Alternative Fitness in South Fargo, where you're making working out fun.
Yeah, that's right, guys. You know, there's a lot of different exercises that you can do right here. And one of them that I think, Gina, you said has been really popular so far is the pole fitness.
Absolutely. It's really new to the area. It's exciting, it's fun, and it's really a good chance for a full body workout that you can't get any other way.
I know, and sometimes you're like, oh, that looks like it might be easy, but it takes a lot of muscles to be able to even hold yourself up on a pole.
It does. It takes all of your upper body. It takes a lot of core strength, a lot of back, shoulders, and then once you get advanced enough to start doing upside down stuff, you really work your legs.
And you don't do upside down stuff before you're ready, because then it makes you guys nervous. Everyone starts at the same place.
Yes, we'll train you in order, and some will go faster, some will go slower, but yeah, we'll get you there.
Yeah, barre fitness, belly dancing, aerial fitness. There's so many different things here, guys. And again, I'm still on only lifting right now. No upside down moves.
We all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
No one wants to see you fall on your head, and I would be scared too to run in there.
But lots of, as we said before, I mean, it's just like some fun alternative ways to get your exercise in.
I like it. Christy Larson reporting live. She looks good. She's got to be getting a workout in too. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. According to a study, men are 4 times more likely to lose this than women.
The answer, their hearing. Remember,
I thought it was just selective hearing that you were suffering from.
We like to say that it's our hearing. What? No, I did not. Oh. I was supposed to take out the trash.
Must be losing my ears.
Ah, my ears are going again. Sorry, honey. You can take part in our question of the morning at our Valley News Live Facebook page, where we, of course, invite you to join the conversation throughout the day. Lots of weather talk going on online this morning, Lisa Green.
You definitely want to listen up to that. We do have some storms still going through the valley. Just an FYI, if you're heading out this morning, there may be some branches in your path, some ponding on some of those roadways too. So just be careful as you're stepping out the door, and have that raincoat on you, because even as this ends, we have more chances for storms coming up today. A slight risk for just about everybody in the valley, and just about every mode of severe weather possible as well for this afternoon. So stay weather aware, and we'll be right here to keep you updated.
Yeah, we'll continue to update you throughout the morning, starting in just 25 minutes, so stay with us.
Have a great Monday, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.